years ago, I had signed with an agent in late 2005 with the book that then became Oh My Gods. And my agent had been shopping it around since January of 2006 and getting rejected everywhere. And it got to the point where she was kind of like, well, I think we really need to start thinking about working on another project because there's some reason people are picking up the Oh My Gods book. I'm like, okay. Well, I was in Florida for the summer, and when I was little, I'd seen the movie Splash when I was like 8 years old, and I so wanted to be Daryl Hannah with her long, beautiful legs and her long, curly blonde hair. And if you haven't seen the movie Splash, you definitely should see it. And I had grown up for a few years in California and was a competitive swimmer and spent a lot of time in the water, and wanted to be a mermaid and fantasized about being in the water even more, and that never really went away. So I was in Florida that summer in 2006, and supposed to be coming up with a book idea that wasn't the one that my agent was shopping. And I was like, laying on the beach, and I was like, not thinking about book idea at all. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if a mermaid could like bestow her magical powers in a kiss? Wouldn't it be cool if a merman could come out of the ocean right now and kiss me, and then I could become a mermaid and my fantasy would come true? Like, that would be very cool. And I was like, well, what if, when she kissed this person and she gave them magical powers, then like they had this like magical bond, like kind of like marriage, but magical connection. And I'm like, then I'm a writer, and I'm like coming up with a book idea, and books need conflict. It's like, kiss you and bond with you, and we're happily ever after. It's not a book. What if she kissed the wrong boy? So Forgive My Fins is about a girl. Her name is, she's a mergirl, half mergirl. Lily Sanderson. That she's a half mermaid princess. She's the heir to the throne of the underwater kingdom of Thalassemia, which in Latin means blue-green sea or something like that. 3 years before the book starts, she found out that her mom was human, which is not completely unusual in the mer world. Like, some mer people bond with humans, and then the humans turn mer because they get the magical powers. So it was kind of a shock that she found out that her mom was still human, when she was born, which is something that you find out why in this book. But so she found out her mom was human, and she decides that, well, I want to find out more about my mom's world and that side of myself, and so I'm going to go. She asks her dad, or her dad suggests that she go maybe live with her Aunt Rachel, who lives in Seaview, Florida, which is where her mom lived and where her mom went to high school. And she's been going for 3 years to the high school that her mom went to and trying to figure this human thing out, because it's not always going very well. And originally she'd only been going to stay for like a year, check things out, go back, get back on the track to like ruling her kingdom in the future. Only like she fell in crush with this boy. He's like the lead swimmer, the star swimmer at the school. He's on news team, so she's on the news team, and she just like thinks about him all the time, and she thinks he'd be her perfect mermaid, and if she could only get the courage to tell him how she feels, and maybe he would feel the same way, and they could kiss and bond and live happily ever after. Only, we all know how crushes go, and you don't ever really confess your feelings, and it's been 3 years, and in my mermaid world, if a mermaid princess is not bonded to her mermaid by the time she's 18, she loses her place in succession. She can't take the throne. And so she's a senior, her time is ticking, she needs to tell him, and the only problem is every time she tries to tell him, she has her next door neighbor, this really annoying beggar boy, who always gets in the way. He like somehow interferes and like is bothering her, and like all of a sudden he offers to help her get this guy that she's been pining for 3 years. And she's kind of skeptical, but she needs the help because it's been 3 years. And then things kind of go awry, and I can't tell you more, or that would ruin the story. This is definitely the strongest romance book that I mean, if any of you have read Oh My Gods, it's it's got the romance between Phoebe and Griffin, but this is a lot more the romance. I had a lot of fun playing with the mythology. It takes place like in Seaview, Florida, which doesn't exist except in my head. But then they also get to go back to Thalassemia and see what an underwater mer kingdom might look like. And it's actually only one of many mer kingdoms, but we'll find out more about other ones in the sequel, which will be out next summer, which will be called Fins Are Forever. Oh, so I want to tell you about the very first version of the cover that I saw. Like if you read the book, Lily like has very fair skin. She's underwater. They don't get a lot of sunlight down there, and she has freckles. And when they sent me this first version, which as a the ladies of Blue Willow have seen. The photographer decided that he needed to make her look like she was underwater in some way, and so he put this like texture on her face, and it looked like her skin was falling off. Like, no, I like the design, I like the colors, I don't like the mangy skin. But they fixed it. She doesn't have blue lips. I don't know why they decided that she needed blue lips. But
it looks good with the magic.
Yeah, some people are like, oh, it's creepy, she looks dead. I'm like, that's not dead blue. It's like 80s retro lipstick blue.
No wonder I liked it.
But I love it. But, I don't know, like, when you read the book, if you picture this girl as Lily, this is like very, very close to the picture of Lily in my head. Except for she has frizzy blonde hair. This must be underwater because her hair looks good. On land, she has frizzy blonde hair. Okay, so the sequel is coming out. I put in a very evil epilogue that tells you that there's a sequel. The sequel will be out next summer, called Fencer Forever. And then the next thing I have after that is the Untitled trilogy. My working title was Daughters of Medusa. The sales department doesn't like that. Some other people think it's...
Sounds like Daughters of the American Revolution.
It could be Medusa Girls, I don't know. It doesn't have titles, but it's about these triplets who are descendants of the Gorgon Medusa, who was, like, in my mythology, she wasn't actually like an evil, turn people to stone person. She was a guardian, and she guarded the door between the world of monsters and the world of men. And so her descendants, that's kind of their destiny, is to fight the monsters that sneak out into our world and send them back, and lots of bigger things that I can't tell you. So I wanted to show you, this is, when I write a book, I can't write at home. It's like I have too many distractions and stuff, and so I have this device called an Alpha Smart, which is basically a keyboard and like 4 lines of screen. So I can't see too much, I can't go back and edit, I can't. That's my mom sending a smiley face because I forgot to tell her that we were at the signing. See, you never outgrow your mothers. So I write this first draft on this thing that doesn't let me see too much, because if I see too much I'll want to fix it when I really just need to write it. So I go to Starbucks and I get now a soy frappuccino, now that they have customizable frappuccinos, because 6 weeks ago I went vegan. And I just write in this machine that then lets me download it into a Word document. And then when I do revision, even though, you know, I try and be eco-conscious and I don't want to kill trees, I can't revise on a screen. Like, for some reason things just don't make sense to me. And so I revise in a printout. This one I've only done a very little bit, but I print it out, double-sided, so it's half as many pages as it needs to be. And I just scribble my notes on here. Usually I have big Post-its, so when I have like a big chunk I need to add, I'll write it on a bunch of Post-its. And I do this all by hand. Yeah, that's all I've done so far. And then go back and this is I'm still revising the first draft of this for my editor, and she hasn't seen it yet, so she's very curious about what the book will actually be like. And very early on in the process, I make my collages, which you can see all of them. These ones aren't up yet because there's nothing about these books on my site yet, but the ones for the characters from Forgive My Fins and Oh My Gods are on my site. But I make just a collage for each character that has like some people that I think, you know, some actors or models that kind of look like them, some things that the kind of things they would own or they might like. These are my 3 descendants of Medusa, and for some reason I decided that I need to see their shoes. Like, this is like the fashionable girl, so she wears like, you know, very fashionable flats, and this is like the kick butt girl, she wears combat boots, and this is like the nice casual girl and she wears pink chucks. Just, you know, visual things that help me picture a character in my head, because I'm a very visual person, which makes it easier to write because I don't have to make it up because I can look at things. It's like I don't take specific details, but generally it gives me an idea. So this is my whole plot for book 1. So that's everything I'm working on officially right now. The sequel to Forgive My Fins is done and going into copy edits, which means ARC's advanced copies should be out this fall and going around soon. And the Medusa Girls will start coming out next fall. They'll be out every year